From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I'm Brandon Warren, and coming up, find out what had elementary school students running laps.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in Helena. Montana's counties are set to receive millions of dollars to assist in COVID-19 recovery. I'll have a closer look at some of the ways that money might be spent.
But first, the summer travel season kicks into high gear this weekend. Tonight, find out why Montana is set to cash in big. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Thursday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, this summer travel season is being called a once-in-a-century rebound summer, and it could pay big dividends for Montana. We already know the housing market is soaring as people opt for Montana's easygoing way of life. But when it comes to visiting, well, that's attracting out-of-staters too. Here's Q2's Andrea Lutz with how.
As we start to embark on this busy summer season, vacation rental site Airbnb says travelers are setting their sights on Montana, and they're doing so in a big way.
Airbnb reveals Montana as one of the top trending states for travelers this summer. The vacation rental site says people are looking to escape to rural areas. In 2015, rural travel accounted for less than 10% of nights booked globally. But now in 2021, rural travel is accounting for more than double of that. This means travelers are looking for cities and states with the fewest hotel rooms, including Montana, which ranks 39th. But if you want to come to Montana, you might be facing some high prices to do so. We searched for the most expensive vacation rental in our state and found this. The Alpine Falls Ranch in Superior. It's a 10-bedroom, 14-bath home that houses 16 guests, but it's $4,500 a night to book. Meanwhile, Airbnb says guests are also looking to book near national and state parks, with the top destinations for summer including Whitefish, West Yellowstone, and Park County, Montana. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Andrea. Now, Andrea wanted to know how Airbnb came up with this trend, and it turns out the vacation rental website has been seeing a major shift as it does some upgrades to the site, including how people search and how even people become hosts. Well, these latest travel trends are putting Montana front and center. Well, a big day up at Billings Logan International Airport as people set off for their holiday travel. And as Q2's David J reports, it's just going to get busier over the weekend.
You know, a lot of people out here.
We obviously had some technical difficulties there. We'll try to get back with David in just a moment. Now, Kevin Plone up at the airport says travel is expected to be up 300% from last year. He expects it to get back to normal this summer with about 1,500 passengers each day. And over in Bozeman, a day of milestones. This as the first Southwest Airlines flight for the entire state landed at Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport. Well, that first flight also flew in a unique story of friendship. MTN's Cody Boyer has that story.
It was a reception here at Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport that the director described as a victory, not just for the airport, but for the surrounding area. That blue, yellow, and red plane there at the end of the gate, that is the first Southwest airline plane to land here at Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport. Talking with Brian Springer, the director of the airport, he does tell me and confirm that this is one of the fastest growing airports in the entire country. With Southwest's addition here as well, now there are 2 flights until early June at least, where they'll upgrade to 4 to Bozeman and Denver and Bozeman and Las Vegas. According to Springer, this flight makes a big difference to this airport.
More than a decade in the making, trying to get Southwest to Montana. We're happy to have them here in Bozeman.
Now, representatives included Montana State University as well as the cheer squad here. They were greeting the plane for a special reason. Behind that cockpit, holding those flags out of those windows, were 2 MSU grads with quite the story and history of their own.
We are extremely excited to welcome Southwest Airlines here to Montana.
It's been a dream for both of us for years. Sometimes I didn't think it would ever happen, but I guess sometimes dreams do come true.
A dream involving parallel lives and the same tarmac. For Captain Dan Moe and First Officer Kirk Kluwen, it's almost like looking in the mirror 7 years apart.
It just feels fantastic. It's kind of been full circle for us. We both learned to fly out here at this airport, I think we both did our first solo flights in the mid-'80s out here on the same runway.
It's just like a homecoming in a sense.
A homecoming for both. Their lives leading to this moment with a Montana flag and an MSU flag flying out of their open windows on the runway. Well, you just have to hear it from them.
Dan and I found out that we flew together several years ago, and Dan's wife also flies here as a pilot.
It was amazing. My wife first flew with Kurt, and she goes, "You got to meet this guy. He's from Bozeman." I'm like, "What?"
We got to talking, and we realized that we grew up 4 blocks apart in Bozeman, and we went all to the same schools. We graduated from Bozeman High, 7 years apart.
But wait, there's more.
We went to MSU, both graduated from MSU, and we both graduated from ROTC up there and got commissioned in the Air Force.
Even in the same detachment, while Dan served in Desert Storm, Kurt, Iraqi Freedom, all tying both Kurt and Dan to the same airfield nearly 40 years ago.
We were both Eagle Scouts in town, and so pretty much everything we did in town, we did exactly the same, just over a 7-year period, and we never knew each other here in town.
Very few people you meet that you go through a whole career and you end up at the same place, flying for the same company, with the same interests, same background. A little weird, but it all works out. And look, we're both back here.
Kurt adds, it's a message. Spread your wings, and it might be the best way to catch the wind and fly.
Sometimes we have to go out and make our way in the world and then come back to town. And if this is the place you want to be, and this is the only place I want to be.
You hope, you dream a little bit, but really to see it come out on a great day, great weather, people represent our great company. It's best thing out there.
At Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Cody. Also new to Bozeman, Avelo flights with service to Burbank, California. We're going to try this one again. A big day at Billings Logan International Airport as people set off for their holiday travel. Here's Q2's David J.
Jeanelle, a lot of people out here getting ready to board flights, and it's quite a bit different than it was last year at this time.
A lot of it is the pent-up demand. Hardly anybody traveled last year. I was looking back, and and last year in April, like 7,500 enplanements. That means about 15,000 people flew for the whole month. That doubled in last May. It was about 26,000 people flew. And this year we're looking at like close to 65,000 for May. So much better numbers. Yeah, it's good to see things getting back to normal.
In terms of like the pandemic, I mean, I've been vaccinated, so I feel a lot better about traveling. I feel a lot more at ease.
This is our first time traveling since the pandemic hit. We were supposed to go last year to Arizona. It's been delayed, so we'll be going this year to visit my family because that's where I'm from.
Hiring has been a little bit challenging for everybody, TSA included, and so they are down a little bit on numbers. So you want to make sure that you don't wait till the last minute to get up here. I just was looking at for July. There's like 7 planes on the ground overnight, and they all leave in the morning. So if you're on those morning flights, you probably want to get here a little early just so you can make sure you get through screening.
I was pretty nervous in November. This time I don't feel so nervous, so yeah, I feel pretty good.
Oh, it's great. Kind of feels like you're gonna normalize it. I don't mind wearing a mask. I'll still travel, but it's exciting to finally get back out there.
Kevin Plone recommends you get here about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes early to have time to go through security. And he also says you'll need to have a mask in the airport and on the flight. Jeanelle, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, David. Turning now to the Weather Center and Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. We don't need to leave town. It's going to be gorgeous this weekend.
Well, the only thing you might leave for maybe going up the Beartooth Highway. We have the customary opening for that happening, plus a lot of graduations, other things. We do have a chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, but the temperatures will be on the rise as we start getting towards especially the early part of next week, and the waterways are going to be running rather fast as well. So you're going to be boating or anywhere close to the water. Make sure you keep that in mind. As we look over the course of the next several days, we'll look at those temperatures to be at around seasonal averages. Monday, even warmer for the Memorial Day ceremonies that'll be going on that day. But temperatures will rise even beyond that. We'll take a closer look at the extended forecast and all the details in just a few minutes from now.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Now, if you are hitting the road out of town, Zimmerman Trail reopened this afternoon. The road was closed for 4 days following a head-on car crash on Monday that left 3 people injured. Now, the impact damaged 4 large concrete barriers and the retaining wall, which helps keep the barriers in place. Crews reset the barrier walls, fixed the retaining wall, cleaned the gutter on the side of the road, and added a fresh coat of paint. And it's an annual event. The Beartooth Pass is slated to open at 8 a.m. Friday between Red Lodge and Cook City. But of course, that is always dependent on weather. Conditions can change quickly, especially during spring and fall. So roads can temporarily close due to poor driving conditions. Officials say plan to have an alternate route just in case. And over in the northwestern part of the state, crews have reached Logan Pass on Going to the Sun Road. That entry into Glacier National Park starts tomorrow, but that doesn't mean the entire road is open just yet. With the winter-like weather from the past weekend, crews encountered 2 avalanches over a foot of snow in some sections and drifts of up to 4 feet. Now, the plows have made it through, but the opening date of the Mini Glacier Road has been delayed until June 3rd. And remember, this year Glacier did start that ticket system to get into the park. That opens starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, but the road is still closed at Avalanche. Well, as the state of Montana gets ready to distribute more than $1 billion in federal COVID-19 relief funding, the 56 counties will soon get their own pot of money to support recovery. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian takes a closer look at where that money could go.
The Federal American Rescue Plan Act provided more than $65 billion for counties across the U.S. In Montana, that means more than $200 million that local leaders can make their own decisions about.
Oh, it's very substantial. It's huge for us.
Lewis and Clark County is set to receive almost $13.5 million. Chief Administrative Officer Roger Baltz says county leaders are excited about the possibilities, but they're waiting for more guidance from the federal government before making specific decisions on how to spend it.
We're in the process right now of making sure that we thoroughly understand what these funds may and may not be used for, what the qualifying criteria are going to be.
While the rules haven't been finalized yet, the U.S. Treasury Department has outlined 5 general categories for how the money can be used. Supporting public health expenditures like COVID mitigation and the costs of some public health staff, addressing negative economic impacts during COVID, including to workers, small businesses, and heavily impacted industries, replacing lost public revenues to support government services, providing premium pay for essential workers in critical industries, and investing in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. This money will likely have to be used by the end of 2024. Lewis and Clark County leaders are having meetings this week as they begin their annual budget process. Typically, the county's budget is about $100 million per year, so $13 million in ARPA money will be a big addition.
And we're setting aside an afternoon to talk about ARPA funds and what the priorities that the county commissioners might want to be for those funds moving forward.
Lewis and Clark County also received about $5 million through the CARES Act last year. That money has been set aside to be used for reimbursing some of the costs of the pandemic. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. ARPA also provided additional money for cities and towns. Billings, Great Falls, and Missoula will each get between $14 and $20 million directly. For smaller cities, the state will receive money and pass it on to local governments. Well, up next on tonight's MTN 530 News, right here on Q2, lace them up. We find out why a student from a local elementary school, why these students are running with excitement. And later in sports, we're off and running. We'll meet a pair of Red Devils looking to lead the charge for Huntley Project at the Class B state tournament.